Hello, hello, hello. How low can I make my voice go? Hello. How high can I make my voice go? Hello, hello. That's harder. Low is easy. High is hard. Hey, we're going to start this English lesson in 32 seconds. Sorry for being silly this morning. 28 seconds, and we will start talking about superheroes. Bit of a special topic this morning. I hope that you enjoy it. Remember, my goal isn't to do all of the exciting English lessons. It's to do all of the English lessons that I can think of. So we're starting in 7 seconds. It looks like everything is working the way it should. 2, 1. Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson about superheroes. I'm sure at some point in your life you've read a comic. At some point in your life you've gone to the movie theater, or you've watched a superhero film at home on Netflix or another streaming service. In this English lesson, I will help you understand all of the words and phrases that you would commonly see or hear when reading about superheroes or watching a superhero film or even a superhero television show. It's a good topic, I think. It's not a super exciting topic for everyone, but like I mention often, my goal isn't to do all of the exciting English lessons. It's to do all the English lessons in the world, and this was next up on the list, so I thought it would be super fun to do a lesson about superheroes. So once again, welcome to this English lesson about superheroes. Hey, before we get started, as you know, I like to say hi to a lot of people. So hi to Yaroslav, Key Park, Lolly Lolly, Eugene from Etobicoke, Cecilia, Vitor, Stacy, Wanda, Noriko, Marwanto, Yaroslav. I'm saying names twice. Thanks to Dave, the Canadian, for being here. And thanks to people like Vitor and Unsel and all of my regulars and all of my members. You guys are awesome. It's good to see so many familiar names. Hi to Know That as well. I see your name there. If I've missed anybody, sorry about that. Hey, a couple things before we get started on the lesson. As most of you know, if you have a question, please ask it using the form. There's a link in the chat. If you click it, you can fill out a form with your phone or your keyboard and send me a question, and I will answer them as we go through the lesson. Please do use the chat to have good English conversations, practice your English writing and reading. And then lastly, just make sure that you enjoy this. Make sure that you have a good time while you learn a little bit of English. There will be a live stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's the first Saturday of the month. I hope to be outside. We'll see. So if you are interested in asking general questions about English, please join that 10 a.m. tomorrow right here on this channel. But I think it's probably a good time to get started. Let me just double check a few things. Things look good. Everything seems to be working well. Let me do a little audio check here for a moment. Can't get my earbuds. They're all tangled. Yes, it looks like everything. All systems go, it says. Let's get started. So, superheroes. What is a superhero? So, when you watch a movie, if there is someone in the movie who is helping people, someone in the movie where when something is going wrong, they come and they make it go right. So let's say a plane is crashing. A superhero would use their powers to save the plane. Different superheroes have different powers, by the way. So when something's going wrong, maybe a crime is being committed, the superhero will step in. The superhero will save the day, we sometimes say in English. The superhero will make things right. So there are a number of different superheroes. Now, you should be aware that this is an English lesson, but it's an English lesson primarily about North American superheroes. Superheroes from films that are made in the United States or made by companies in the United States. So this is going to be very American. It's going to be a very American English lesson about superheroes. Here we have Superman on the right and Batman on the left. Superman has superpowers. Batman is just a normal human who makes things that let him do remarkable things. He has no actual superpowers, except he's probably super smart, maybe. So I've mentioned the word superpower a number of times. A superpower is an ability that other humans don't have. I can't fly. Superman has the superpower of flight. He can fly. Many different superheroes have different superpowers, and this is what makes them interesting. I'm not going to describe them all here, but a superpower would be an ability that a normal human being doesn't have. I can't run 100 kilometers an hour. If I could run 100 kilometers an hour, that would be a superpower for sure. And we describe some superheroes as superhuman. And we also use this as an adjective. So you could say they have superhuman strength. This is the Hulk. The Hulk is incredibly strong. He has superhuman strength. We would describe him as superhuman. He's more than a human. He's certainly able to do things that the average human being can't do. So I'm going to go through the 10 most common superheroes in North American film and in North American comics. So let's go through them, and I'll try to remember some of their superpowers. Superman has the power of flight. He's very strong. He has superhuman strength. He can run really fast, faster than a train, I think, or speeding bullet. I think that's the way it's described. He's actually from a different planet, and that's why he is superhuman, because he's not actually human. He looks like a human. Spider-Man has the ability to climb on walls, and he can shoot spider webs from his wrists, and that lets him kind of swing on the spider webs through town. I don't know much more about Spider-Man, although I'm pretty sure in real life he's Peter Parker. We'll talk about alter egos in a little bit. But Spider-Man, he was bit by a spider. He has some of the same abilities that a spider would have. Batman, a normal human being who is able to create and invent things that let him do amazing things. So he has created something called the Batmobile, an incredible car that he drives. He is just really, really good at making things, and those give him abilities to do things humans can't. Captain America, very American, a very American superhero. Captain America is just incredibly strong. I think he actually ages very slowly as well, and I think he heals pretty quickly, but mostly he's just very, very strong, super strong. Iron Man, a normal human being who's very, very smart and builds things like the suit that he wears. So Iron Man, again, another superhero who's very, very smart and not someone who has actual superpowers. His superpower is his ability to make things that make him stronger, allow him to fly, etc. By the way, we're almost done here. Don't get too bored with all of the superheroes I'm describing. Wonder Woman, I think she's from an ancient race of, I don't know a lot about Wonder Woman. Incredibly strong, incredibly fast, incredibly good at fighting and saving the day. I also think she has a lasso that makes you tell the truth, and an invisible plane, a plane that you can't see. Aquaman lives under the water, has some of the same abilities as a fish. For instance, he can breathe underwater. Also super strong and super good at doing fishy things. I'm not describing these superheroes very well. Aquaman, he is actually my favorite superhero, by the way, Aquaman. I really like Aquaman. Although Iron Man might have taken first place for me when I saw the first Iron Man movie. And I believe he can talk to fish. Captain Marvel has incredible superpowers, one of the most powerful superheroes in the world. She can fly. She can travel through space without a spacesuit, I think. She is probably as strong as Superman, if not stronger. I should get a comparison of the two. Black Panther, from the fictional place called Wakanda. An incredible, strong superhero, a suit that makes him very, very strong and very, very fast. Where am I here? Last one, Wolverine. A mutant. A mutant is someone who is different than a human because of their genetic makeup. He is incredibly strong. He heals very quickly, and his skeleton is made out of metal, a metal called adamantium, I think it's called. Okay, so that's most of your North American superheroes, we would call them. Let's do some questions, and then I will get to the rest of the lesson. Let me see if we have some questions here. We have a few. From Spider-Man, you are a superhero as well, Bob. You help people. Thanks. Bye. Mary Jane is waiting for me. Well, thank you, Spider-Man. So we sometimes describe people in life as superheroes. So even though we aren't superhuman, even though we don't have superpowers, when someone does good things, sometimes we say, you are a superhero. It's a good way to describe someone. So thank you for the compliment. From Yaroslav, morning, the wisest teacher, Bob. I had no superhero in my childhood. What was yours when you were a child? Have a great weekend ahead. So, as I mentioned, I really liked Aquaman, but I would also say my superhero was my dad. My dad was an incredibly hardworking person who taught me a lot of things. So you can have a superhero as a child who's a fictional character, but you can also have someone in real life who you describe as a superhero. From Renata, hello, Bob. What's your favorite superhero movie? I'm between Daredevil and Spider-Man. These are my favorites. Thanks for the lesson. Have a great day. God bless you. So I would say the first Iron Man is one of my favorite movies. And I do like the second Thor movie. I can't remember what it's called. The first one that Taika Waititi directed. That's one of my favorites as well. But the first Iron Man movie kind of started it all for me. Lolly Lolly, if you were a superhero, what power would you like to have? Merci, Bob. I think I would love to have the power of super fast healing. So if I was walking and twisted my ankle, it would heal instantly. The ability to heal quickly. It's a pretty selfish superpower, but I would want to be able to heal quickly. That would be really nice for me. I would really, really enjoy that. Let's see here. From Ario, hola, Mr. Bob, how are you? Today's topic is my cup of tea. I love superheroes. Question, what will you do for the kids if you were a superhero? I think if I was a superhero, I would want to be super strong and super fast. And I think I would like to stop crime, stop bad people. I think that is what I would want to do. I would want to be one of the superheroes who takes care of other people by helping them. That would be super fun. Let's see here. From Ruslan, hello, dear teacher Bob. How are you, sir? Versus time, DC or Marvel, what do you like more? Okay, so there are two sources of most American comic strips or most American superhero movies. There's a place that created Marvel Comics and a place that created DC Comics. I tend to like Marvel Comics, which is like X-Men and the Avengers and all of those superheroes. I'll talk more about that in a bit. Let's see here. Sala says, hello, great teacher Bob. The father in the eyes of his sons and daughters is a superhero. It is wise not to humiliate him in front of them. I would say that parents are definitely superheroes. Parents are very, very cool people in the lives of their children, for sure. From Aladdin, a little off topic. Hi, my precious teacher Bob. Long time. I neither watch your videos nor live, but I'm finally back though. Well, welcome back, Aladdin. I have a question. Why we pronounce when and who differently? When and who? I don't know. When is definitely a W sound, and who doesn't have a W sound at all. Okay, a couple things here. Let me just check. One is, don't forget that tomorrow I'm doing a live lesson at 10 a.m. Come and join me. Ask any question you want, similar to Aladdin's. Let's, however, get back to the lesson. Let's get back to the lesson and finish it off in record time. So a superhero often has an alter ego or secret identity. Some don't, and some do. What that means is that when they're saving people, when they're doing good, they often wear a costume or a disguise or a suit, but they have a normal life. For instance, Superman is actually Clark Kent. Batman is actually Bruce Wayne. Did I get that right? Hopefully. Some superheroes, though, don't care. Some superheroes, like, for instance, Iron Man, everyone knows that Iron Man is Tony Stark. Everyone knows that Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman. I think. Don't quote me on that. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But I do know what an alter ego or secret identity is. It's when you dress a different way and people don't know who you are as a superhero. So again, you might wear a disguise. So you might dress in a way where people can't recognize you. You might, let me say disguise again. You might wear a disguise. You might have a suit that makes it hard for people to recognize you. When Bruce Wayne wears the Batman suit, it's hard for people to see who it is because his face is covered. You would probably wear a mask. So once again, your alter ego is your normal name and how you look in normal life. And then you wear a mask or a suit or a disguise so people don't know who you actually are in real life. Batman wears a mask. Superman doesn't wear a mask, but Superman does wear glasses in real life, which I guess makes him hard to identify. Sorry, glasses don't really change how people look that much, but it does crack me up a bit. A cape. So a cape is something that is a little strange. People in real life don't wear capes. It's a large piece of fabric that hangs from your shoulders onto your back. Some superheroes have a cape behind them, Superman and Batman being two of them. Let's go back to this Batman. You can see the large black cape behind him hanging from his shoulders. Some superheroes have a secret hideout. Batman has a bat cave. They have a place where they go where they can do secret superhero things. And we usually call it a secret hideout. Not all of them have this, but definitely Batman has the Batcave where he invents things and makes things. I think it's actually located below his mansion. It's where he keeps things like the Batmobile or the Batcopter or the Batplane. I don't know how many vehicles he has, but this is where he would keep them. And this is also where he would go to invent new things. So on the other end of the spectrum, we have what's called a villain or supervillain. Most superheroes are trying to do good, but sometimes there is a villain or supervillain who is trying to do evil or is trying to do bad things. In the Avengers movies, that person is Thanos. He is considered a supervillain because he isn't helping the world. He's actually doing bad things in the world. So when you have superheroes, you usually also have supervillains. Supervillains also have superpowers, and they use their superpowers not to help people, but to do bad things. We also sometimes call this person the superhero's nemesis. So my nemesis, I don't have a nemesis, but if I had a nemesis in life, it would be a person who tries to make my life harder. They make my life difficult. It's basically an enemy. We sometimes even use the word arch enemy to describe someone like that. An arch enemy is like the ultimate enemy, someone who, when you do one thing, they try to undo it or do the opposite. So many superheroes will have an arch enemy. I think this is Lex Luthor, who is the nemesis of Superman, or it would be Superman's arch enemy, the person he is most often fighting against. I think Batman's nemesis is the Joker, although there are many of them. So, or you could say his arch enemy is the Joker. So we did mention two kinds of comics. There are Marvel comics and there are DC comics. So many superhero movies are based on comics from the last 50 years or longer. And those comics in America generally came from one of two places, either from Marvel Comics. This would be things like the Avengers, Iron Man, Thor, the Hulk. All of those characters come from the Marvel universe, and X-Men as well, like Wolverine and Professor X. But you also have the DC comics. From the DC universe, you have people like The Flash and Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman. So there's kind of two different sources of American superheroes. And I do want to say this, superheroes aren't just from American companies. There are superheroes all around the world. When you read comics in other countries, there are superheroes from every country of the world. I'm just focusing on what's the most popular superheroes that I see in Canada when I go and see movies. And it's definitely either from the Marvel or DC comics. We also use universe. I think I did use that word a couple times. The Marvel universe or the DC universe. So that's the imaginary world that the writers created that we look at when talking about superheroes. Hey, I'm a little ahead, but I'm going to go back to questions and we're going to do a members only chat super early today. I hope that's okay with everybody. I'm on a bit of a roll. I hope I'm not going way too fast with this lesson. I have to admit that I made the normal amount of slides, but I think when I went through the top 10 superheroes, that was pretty fast. So we're a little ahead of schedule. So let's do members only chat and let me answer some questions. I'll have a sip of water and slow down a little bit maybe. I do want to say hi to the 246 people who are watching. Good to see you here. It's fun to see people watching. Oh, and once again, I will be live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So don't forget if you want to come and ask some questions about the English language. Let's go to the general questions first, and then we'll get to members only questions. Julius, can you share how to learn vocabulary that is easy to remember, never to forget? I am so grateful for that. So I'll talk about that in the context of comics. If you like reading a certain kind of book or comic, read something that you'll read more than once and you will remember the vocabulary. If you like reading comic books, you will reread them. Anytime you can add repetition to learning vocabulary, it will help you remember it. So I would say, as silly as this sounds, even if you're not a kid, go buy a comic book today and read it 10 times. Any new words in there, you will probably remember. It's much easier to reread a comic book many times than it is to reread a book. So repetition is the best way. Let's see here. From Fatima. Hi, teacher. I don't have a question today. I just opened this forum to say God bless you. Well, thank you, Fatima. Thank you very much. I don't know how to pronounce that name, though. Is it Fatima or Fatima? So sorry if I mispronounced it. Oh, here's a good one. From Rick-san. Hi, Bob. Could you explain the difference, if any, between avenge, vengeance, and revenge? So we see the word avenge in the name Avengers. So the Avengers are like Captain America and Iron Man and the Hulk and Thor and Hawkeye and, oh, who's the last one? I'm trying to think of the last one. Why can't I think? Scarlett Johansson plays. Just a sec here. Hey, who's in the kitchen? Can you ask, who does Scarlett Johansson play in the Avengers? Can you ask for a sec? I'm doing some research. Black Widow. Thank you, Black Widow. So there is a team called the Avengers. When you avenge something, it means you bring justice. If you were to avenge something, it means something bad happened to you, and then you go after the people who did that. Vengeance is similar. When you want to have vengeance, it means you want to make things right again. Let's look up the meaning of these for a sec. Meaning of avenge. So inflict harm in return for an injury or wrong done to yourself. So there you go. That's avenge. And then let's look up vengeance. Vengeance, punishment inflicted or retribution for injury or wrong. So very, very similar. And then revenge, the last one, a desire for vengeance or retribution motivated by revenge, an act or instance of retaliation. So they are all reacting, it sounds like violently most of the time, to something that has been done to you. Let's see, next question. And then I'll get to the members. Sorry, members. Fred would like to be one. Hi, Superhero Bob, the amazing teacher. I think that about an anti-superhero who is called Deadpool. Did you see some of his movies? I like superheroes a lot. Thanks to you. Yeah, so there's something called the anti-hero, or the reluctant hero, someone who doesn't actually want to save people, but they, for some reason, end up doing it. Deadpool would be a good example. Okay, to the chat. Sorry, members. Lolly, I would like to be Invisible Man or Invisible Woman in my cafe. Does it say cafe? I don't have my glasses on. Yes, being invisible would certainly have advantages, wouldn't it? Noriko, it's a fun lesson. Let us tell your superhero in your entire life except your dad. Yes. It's interesting when you talk about superheroes, because often doctors and nurses are considered superheroes. That would be a certain category of job. Sometimes teachers, but usually later. Oh, it looks like I left my seats from my van here. If you're wondering what that is, we took the seats out of our van the other day. Let's see here. I believe there is a Captain Canada in the Marvel Universe too, Bob. I think there is. I have not done any research on that, but that would be interesting to see Captain America fight Captain Canada. Madi says, hi, everyone. Hi, Madi. Good to see you. Key Park, I believe you can do it, Lolly. Mode says, hello, Super Bob. Where's your cape? I thought you were joking when you talked about that last week, but you really were. An English lesson about superheroes. You do collect lesson ideas like Pokemons. Yes, I had the lesson half designed when I replied to your comment, so I thought I'd give you a little hint, Mode. Good to see you. Eugene from Automation Secure Home. Cool name change, Eugene. I do recognize your avatar, though. The Ukrainian military is a superhero. Cool. Cool use of the word superhero. Very good description. No, that says Black Widow. Black Widow. Everyone's yelling Black Widow in the chat. Yes. Lolly says, haha, Key Park. Madi says, nobody in the kitchen. Yeah, they did eventually come and answer my question. Noriko, I'm in since I'm a woman too. Haha. Dave was in the kitchen, says Madi. No, Dave is not in the kitchen. Dave is definitely in Toronto right now. No, that says to Dave, it's a topic I know a little bit about. Noriko says to Eugene, couldn't agree with you more. Mode says, yeah, avenge and revenge are two easily confused words. When you avenge someone and when you get revenge on someone are not the same, right? Yeah, it's... So when you avenge someone, it means someone I know, something happened to them, so I punish the person who did it. When I get revenge on someone, I'm talking about the person who did it. So when you avenge someone, you're helping someone else to get revenge. When you get revenge, you're doing it to a different person. So hopefully that made some sense. Let's see here. Noriko says, or Lolly says, hello, haha to Noriko. Freddie Wolf, hi, Super Bob. When you were just a little younger, did you prefer reading comics or more watching them in the movie theater? Did you have some superhero toys to play with? Thanks. I did not have superhero toys, but I did enjoy watching cartoons on Saturday mornings, even though we weren't allowed to in my house. So if I could, I would sneak into the back room and turn the TV on and watch superhero cartoons on Saturday morning. Lolly says, I meant Superwoman in my case. Sorry for the typo. Good point. Cecilia says, hey, Bob, thank you so much for this amazing lesson. I will share it with my business English students. Thank you very much, Cecilia. And Know That says to Dave, Deadpool should be familiar to Mr. Bob because Ryan Reynolds is Canadian too. Yes, he is. He's definitely. Ryan Reynolds is definitely a Canadian. We are very proud of Canadians who are successful in the world, and Ryan Reynolds is definitely one of them. Hey, let me do a couple more questions from the forum, and we will get back to the lessons. From Bisultan, hello, Teacher Bob. Thank you for your amazing lessons. I really like American superhero movies. My favorite character is Doctor Strange. What do you think about him? He's pretty cool. Doctor Strange has the ability to use magic of some kind. I think he has like one of the Infinity Stones in his medallion, or he did at one point. But yes, very cool. Dima student, hi Bob. Who do you think would win in a fight, Batman or Spider-Man? Oh, I thought you were going to say Superman. Batman or Spider-Man? I think Batman would win. I do. I really do think Batman would win. That's a tough question though. Spider-Man can fly around and do crazy things, but I don't know. Let's see here. Selivasha, is it preferable to say suit or costume about the hero's outfits? Generally, we say suit. We would say that Batman wears a suit, Iron Man wears a suit, Superman wears a suit. But we use costume when talking about, if I dressed up as Batman, I would probably call it a costume because I'm trying to look like that person. So if I wanted to be a pirate, I would wear a costume. If I wanted to be Superman, I would wear a costume. Superman himself, though, would wear, probably we would use the word suit. He wears his suit. Let's see here. From Hafiez, hey, they're my superhero coach, Bob. Parents and teachers are the original superheroes, and they create superheroes. No weird question from me this time. All the best. Well, thank you. That is a good sentiment, a good thought. Let's see here. Mode says, have a sip, Mr. Bob. Just did. If you had to pick a superhero name for yourself, what would it be? Bob the Banana? Jack O'Trades because you're a jack of all trades? I don't know. Bob the Canadian is a great superhero name. I think I would stick with that. Know That says, yes, I also like his movies. Having a chat with Dave. Freddie says, when I first learned English, I was taught Brian is the kitchen. Brian is in the kitchen, right? But you were taught Brian is the kitchen? Like the person was actually a kitchen. Mode says, I think as you get older, you realize that Mr. Neat, Monsieur Propre, is your favorite superhero. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you use Mr. Clean in that country, in your country, but we call it Mr. Clean. Eugene says, Messi is football superhero. Oh, yes. Definitely. You have superheroes in sport as well. From Winter Wright, hi Bob. Are there any superheroes who are not famous in fighting or strength? They are famous in saving people's lives. I'm not sure. I don't have extensive knowledge of all the superheroes, but definitely in life, there are superheroes. Like I would consider the people who did my heart surgery, I would consider them superheroes. But in the wide world of fictional superheroes, I'm not sure. From Petit Yul Aguth, hello, Mr. Bob. I'm very glad to watch this kind of topic. My favorite film, Captain America. I watch it a lot. Thank you so much. God bless you. Yes, Captain America is pretty cool, I would have to say. Very interesting superhero. Hey, let's get back to the lesson, though. Let me turn off members only chat. Hopefully, we don't have members joining right now. Wondering why members only chat is over already. But let's wrap this lesson up so Bob can get to work and teach some things this morning. Let me have a sip of water and then I'll get my slides. Let's see. Brian is in the kitchen. There we go. Thanks, Freddie. That is the correct version. What do we got here? Oh, not too many slides left, actually. Some superheroes have a sidekick. A sidekick is another superhero who they work with regularly. Often you will see Batman working with Robin. This is Robin in the front here. By the way, if you're wondering why all the pictures are pictures of toys, it's because I only use pictures in my lessons that have no copyright on them. So it's hard sometimes to find pictures that I'm allowed to use. So most of these are pictures of toys. Some are pictures of Lego toys of superheroes. But anyways, a sidekick is someone that a superhero works with. Sometimes they also have superpowers. The most common duo would be Batman and Robin. Robin is his sidekick. We also have something called a mutant. Superheroes either have powers, like Superman just has powers, or they might get powers somehow. Sometimes there's an accident. The Hulk was in an accident that caused him to receive powers. Peter Parker was bitten by a spider and he got powers. But some people are mutants. That means that their genetic DNA has changed and that has given them some kind of superpower. This is very common if you read X-Men comic books, for sure. So I mentioned this a bit earlier. Often there are two sides in superhero stories. If you read a comic book or watch a film, there will be people who are fighting for good, and there will be people who are fighting for evil. There will be people who are good, and there will be people who are evil. This is how we generally describe things. Lately, though, some movies present a different picture where the person is kind of good and evil. This would be common in things like Deadpool. He's not really evil, but he's not always good. He's kind of a bit of both. In the end, I think he is good, though. But often in a superhero movie, there will be good and there will be evil. There will be two sides to the fight. And you will have people like Superman and Batman and Captain America on the side of good. And you will have people like Thanos and the Joker on the side of evil. And they will, at some point, fight. Superheroes often are trying to save the day or save the world. That is the general description for what they do. When Superman flies around the city stopping crime, or when Batman drives around at night stopping crime, they're trying to save the day or save the world. Save the day is a smaller thing. If Superman stops someone from robbing someone, we say that he saved the day. But when the Avengers fought Thanos, they saved the world. Okay, so generally these are two phrases used to describe what superheroes do. They try to save the day or save the world. Many superheroes will have what's called an origin story. An origin story is how they became a superhero, or where they came from, or how they went from being a normal person to having superpowers, or building a suit, or things that make them what they are today. So Superman's origin story is that he's from the planet Krypton. Batman's origin story is that his parents were killed and eventually he learned how to make lots of money and make things. If you watch the first Iron Man movie, it's his origin story, how he became Iron Man. So an origin story is a very common term, a very common thing to talk about when you're talking about superheroes, how that person became a superhero in the first place. So a few of the things that superheroes are able to do, sometimes they have superhuman strength. They are able to lift things that are very, very heavy. Spider-Man has superhuman strength. Superman has superhuman strength. So their ability to lift incredibly heavy things would be described as superhuman strength. I cannot lift this many weights. If a human being could lift that many weights, they would have, I think, superhuman strength. Also, we sometimes say invulnerability. Let me say that again because it was hard to say. Invulnerability. This is the ability to not get hurt or damaged. So Superman is invulnerable. Bullets bounce off of Superman. The Hulk is invulnerable. If you were to drive a car into him, it would not hurt him. So when you are invulnerable, when you have invulnerability, that is really hard to say. It means you do not get hurt very easily. Thor would be another superhero who has a high level of invulnerability. It's not very easy for them to get hurt. And then there's invisibility. So when you are invisible, no one can see you. So invisibility would be an amazing superpower. If I had the ability to be invisible, that would be very, very cool. I think if any human being could be invisible, it would be hard for them not to steal. That's what I always think about invisibility. If I could be invisible, I would be able to steal things and no one would see me. Would that make me turn into a bad person? I would hope it wouldn't, but certainly invisibility would make it tempting to do illegal things, I think. For some people, not for Bob the Canadian, because his superpower is doing right all the time. I don't know, maybe tempting, wouldn't it? Some people are psychic. Well, some superheroes are psychic. This means they have the ability to read someone else's mind, so they can know what someone else is thinking. This would be an incredibly powerful superpower, the ability to read someone's mind. So that would mean that if you were thinking about ordering a pizza, and if you said, hey, what am I thinking right now? And if I said, you're thinking about ordering a pizza, that would mean I was psychic and I could read your mind. And there's X-ray vision. I don't know if this is the best picture for this, but this would be the ability to see through walls. If you had X-ray vision, you would be able to see through walls and see what other people are doing on the other side of it. And then the last word for this lesson is the word justice. So justice is the ability to make sure people follow the law, to catch people if they don't follow the law. So often superheroes like to bring justice to the world. They like to make sure that everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing. Criminals get caught. In a world that has justice, criminals immediately get caught and they go to jail. It's just good to have justice in the world, and superheroes in movies try to do that. Hey, that was a fast lesson. Sorry if this went too quick for you. I am going to jump back and answer a couple of questions. If you want to ask questions directly in the chat, you may do that as well. Let's finish off some questions from the forum. From Amran, I like Ultraman, Bob. Is this what we call superheroes? So let me look up Ultraman. That certainly sounds like a superhero name. Ultraman. Oh yes, Ultraman. I'm reading the Wikipedia page right now to see where Ultraman is from. Yes, very cool. The Ultraman phenomenon. I should watch Ultraman a little bit. That sounds very cool. Next question. Here we go. From Rocky. Hi, Teacher Bob. I'd like to tell you that my favorite characters are Spider-Man and Super Mario. I consider them great heroes. Anyway, have a great day. Well, you too. Definitely, Spider-Man is pretty cool. Always helping people. Always saving the day. Always being nice to people. He's a very nice superhero. And funny, I think. And Super Mario, not sure if he's a superhero. Maybe in the Mario world, he is a superhero, I would say for sure. Let's see here. Cecilia says, I love the word justice. It is a good word. Vitor says, thanks, Bob. It was a super lesson. It's good to apply justice, says Madi. And then Eugene says, we would say the Queen was a superhero, but definitely. Lolly says, I like the idiom, a blessing in disguise. A bad thing at first, finally turn into a better thing. Definitely. So, hey, thanks for watching this lesson, everybody. I am going to wrap it up. It's a little bit early. I'll try to make sure my lesson goes a bit longer next week. I do want to thank the 246 people who are watching. It's good to have you here. Thank you very much for being here. Bye to Vitor, Madi, Cecilia, Eugene from Automation CQ Home, Lolly, Noriko, Freddie Wolf, Know That, Naomi, and thanks to Dave for moderating the chat. Bye to Irina and Dimitri. I know Ario was here earlier, and Unsel. Good to see all of you. Bye to Mode Eggs as well. thanks for hanging out. Thanks for learning a little bit more English. I am going to wrap this up. By wrap it up, I mean end. When you wrap something up, it means it's coming to an end. So thank you so much for watching. Have a really, really good day, and I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live lesson, hopefully outside. Hopefully the weather stays nice. It's supposed to be nice. And also, don't forget, this lesson will come out in a shorter version in a couple of days. So watch that and reinforce what you learned today. Anyways, thanks a lot, everyone. Bye.